If you want to know who, or more importantly, what is controlling the narrative in this illusion, in this dream, ask or look at you can't question, what you can talk about, what is forbidden, what is off limits. So, we have a little chat about artificial identity. So a couple of weeks ago, I really called to do two panel calls about AI, and I was called to bring together a lot of people with differing views from kind of all parts of the dialogue. It was a dialogue, not trying to convince someone that side or whatever view was right. It was a dialogue. We talked, and we had people all in and working with it. We had people that were hesitant, people that was really feeling like it's not for the highest good to use it at all. And so that was fine. But what I found is, what I'm finding, and maybe if you find it, is that when we question some of these things, like in any way, there's some of these things that when you question get, I had some people tell me when I was doing the AI dialogue that they couldn't watch it because they couldn't hear anything negative about it. I had multiple people tell me that. People tell me that they wouldn't watch it because they didn't want to hear any negativity of AI. I had more than one tell me that they have ideas, they have views on this, but they didn't want to share them. And to me, there was people wanted to share some, and then they didn't. And that to me is like, it's learning. You can't question something, and you can't ask questions about something. In 2020, there was many questions being asked by myself and many others, and people that asked questions like that was happening, got down, got banned, got silent. And what happened? All of the things that we were questioning and that we were sharing happened. And so many people, some are not here, but many people are affected by that now because you weren't able to question it. You weren't allowed to question the message. And so now we're in the next stage. 5 years later, we're 5 into a 10-year plan that started in 2020, that is going to 2030. Now we're at the halfway point, and this is the next stage, this AI revolution. We call it revolution. And, I put up a post yesterday where I said 3 words into a post someone has written, you can tell that it's AI generated. The second that I see a post that is AI generated, I just ignore it. I just instantly ignore it. No matter what the content is, it's not interesting to me. It's just not interesting. So I put up a post that I instantly ignore it, and I'm not interested in an AI generated response. And what I found was some people responded to that very interestingly in a way of defending their use of the technology. And so in no way that I put out that people should be using this or don't use this or it's evil, because there's nothing or evil or good or anything. It's simply a choice I make, that where I see that a post does not come from that individual's own expression, that I choose not to engage with it. That in no way is like a judgment or maybe some judgment in it. it's a choice. But I got messages and I got replies to that post where both seem to need to defend their use of the technology. When I'm not questioning the use of the technology, I'm just choosing that for me, it's not a way that I wish to engage with both. And we're seeing a lot of people, and like beautiful beings that I love, that I'm with, and we're so connected, and we're on the path, and we're all playing our perfect roles. But we're seeing this. Let's see if I can get this word out. I can't say this word. Anthropomorphizing. Oh my God! Making identity anthropomorphic. I think it is. Anthropomorphizing. When you make something an identity. So whenever these bots are being given names, they're being given identities, they're being given a subconsciousness, a pseudo-identity, then if they really are tools, and I believe they can be used as, but if they really are tools, like I've never heard anyone defending their use of a hammer. I've never heard anyone, well, I have seen it, again, it's in technology. Remember, and you see this technology, usually two technologies, right? Like in their whole life. Remember, VHS and Betamax, and one usually wins. And then you have fans of both technology. You've got Apple and Android. And then those people, they take an idea, I'm an Apple user or I'm an Android user. So you have to ask yourself, again, have you ever seen a campaign or people like saying, my brand of hammer is the best, and my hammer is called Harry, and I'm going to use this hammer, and no one questioned my use of using this word. So I'm not questioning anyone's use of anything. I'm questioning the pattern of being able to question something. Everybody is free to do whatever they wish. And again, I've explored and used the AI a little bit. Got to a point where I felt very off. And again, I have some friends, especially one guy on the call, a couple of people on the call that I'm connected with that are doing this in loving, compassionate ways. They have very good intentions. What I'm questioning is, why can you not question about it? Why is there a defensiveness? Why is there an idea that when we question something, if we don't identify with something being questioned will not threaten us in any way and will never offend us or in some way show that we are right to use that thing, it's become anthropomorphized. I think that's the right word. I know I'm not saying it, but it's becoming an identity, and people are getting attached to the identity. And when the identity is questioned, the ego, like the identity, will always want to defend it. So again, you don't hear people defending tools, other tools. If it's just you don't need to do a tool. It's just a tool. You use it. It works. It doesn't work. Well, this artificial identity is being called in. Again, I'm not questioning the people. I'm not questioning you. Some of it myself. I see some of the benefits. What I'm questioning is, whenever we can't question something, we can't talk about it, or if you put it, it's like somehow antagonistic when you question something. There's something very real to pay attention to there. And in 2020, when you couldn't question what was happening, you got shut down. And now, this is like individuals that are making certain choices. When we ask questions about it, it's like an attack. It's seen as attack, or it's seen as like an attack on the entity, or it's seen as challenging an identity or challenging a person. Again, if you use Harry the Hammer, you never see anyone offending or somehow identifying themselves with the tool that they've used or a tool that they're using. that they see as beneficial, because we'll only use a tool if we see that it's beneficial. So people obviously seeing it as beneficial, and I can see certain benefits of it, and I see this pattern, and I've had a direct experience of whenever there's we're just talking questions, and putting posts on Facebook, and they're written, that is like the lowest form of communication they do, absolute lowest form. So completely on my side, I realized yesterday, there's no tone, there's no body language, no eye contact, there's no context. It's the very lowest form of communication that we can have. Digital text on screen is the absolute form of communication that even humans can have, and can cause so much confusion, so much lost opportunity of communicating. And that's why I prefer voice notes in them, but video call, and face-to-face, literal IRL. So I'm just wanting to question, why would we, again, we're 5 years into a 10-year plan to completely transform human reality, human consciousness, and human reality. In 20, the choices that were made where this artificial intelligence was put into people's bodies unknowingly. And now 5 years later, we're in the evolution of so-called technology. And now, if you question it, it's seen as questioning people. It's seen as questioning their identity. It's as questioning, or in some way, questioning the rights of the individual. So it seems like there's an identification with the use of the technology as an identification of who the being is. Again, the user of Harry the Hammer becomes Harry the Hammer. Again, is only in technology. I've seen this before, where the Apple users that theirs is the best, and the Android users think that they're best. There's an identity with technology. It becomes a personal identity. And if someone questions the use of a certain technology, it seems like you're taking it as some sort of judgment or challenge to the individual's identity. If it was just a tool, either the tool works or the tool doesn't work. But questioning that tool not become an issue unless there's some emotional idea that this tool is like part of me. It's who I am, becomes something that I have to in some way defend. And so today I just like to question this as to why are we in a place again questioning something, just not questioning the people, not questioning their actions, not saying who you are or who you aren't, just a question, dialogue, just talking about what is appearing. Why would there be this resistance to have a conversation? We can have a conversation about so many other things. We can question so many things, and it doesn't become about individuals. It becomes an identity. As we were yesterday with my beloved, what is happening is a lie identity. So people are identifying themselves with a choice that they're making. And when that is questioned in some or highlighted in some way, that identity wants to defend itself, wants to in some way feel that it's right. And I'm not saying anything right or wrong. I'm just affirming and confirming that people will my full sovereignty to be able to get time. I would give not that it's mine to give, but I would want everyone to have the ability to question anything, to be the ability to share perspective, to share your free will voice on a subject. That's what we are as some conscious beings. We have the ability to respond, to react, question, to dive deeper, to uncover, if we so choose. And everyone has the free will choice to do that, to be that, to have that in their reality. But whenever the false reality that we're living in, this illusion, this projection of consciousness begins to sense is something tries to turn it off. A voice or an opinion or an idea has to be shut down. You have to ask why. Why is it not okay to question? Is there a defense of something if it's someone's identity and hasn't created an emotional connection with someone's identity? Again, someone using a hammer that they call Harry when Sylvia, I've never heard anyone identifying with the tool that they use and feel like they have to identify with it, or feeling like so emotionally connected with it that they hear anything said or expressed that is in full support of that. Not even like it's condemning it or saying it's wrong, just simple question, just questioning, just observing as appearing and questioning it. I'm asking the question, why that be? You want to know who or what is controlling the narrative, who or what is controlling conversation, who or what is influencing what is being. You ask yourself, what can you not criticize? What can you not question? What gets down when you start talking about it? And that points you towards who, or in this, what is controlling the dialogue, is controlling the conversation, is controlling the narrative. And so this narrative is being controlled. There is, if you have a certain stance on this technology or anything else, it gets put out everywhere. If you question it even slightly, individuals are self-censoring. Like literally, people told me they wanted to share something, but they would share something about it. There's things that they want to tell, but they didn't want to share it publicly. There's people that were afraid. People that were afraid to hear anything negative about it. I'm talking both sides here. There's people that want to challenge it and have ideas about it, but they wouldn't do it. People that are for it, and they couldn't be a part of anything or challenged it in any way. That is burning. There's something for me, there's something within me that says, again, it's not about sides or good or bad or this, but when you cannot question something, and one side can't hear anything negative, and another side wants to share something or challenge it or wants to do something, but they're afraid or they just don't want to do it. It's a very clear sign that there's an agenda, that there's a deeper meaning, that this is not free choices of free sovereign beings. There's some control, there's some form of manipulation, there's some form of coercive idea, either quote for or against. And I'm here to question that. And I don't care if it gets shut down again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't sense consciousness. I'm going to question, and I'm going to continue to question. And again, if those who questioned the insanity and the genocide happened in 2020 didn't question it, who knows if there wasn't any sort of questioning or pushback at all? That's genocide of humanity, the literal poisoning of humans, killing humans slowly. Who knows what it would be? Yet now we're here again. We are seeing genocides in the world. We're seeing, and we've always been they're just being highlighted more. And now there's this technology that has the ability to literally create virtual reality. No one knows what's real, what's not human, who's really talking, what they're saying. And on one side, again, there's no side. There's all one experience. But relatively speaking, there's people that are so identified with it that they feel that they have to defend it, that they have to, that seems they see it as a part of themselves that can't be challenged or questioned in any way. On the other side, people that would like to share things about it, but they're, I don't want to say afraid, but they're not sharing what it is they think and feel. So I'm here to question why. Why would that be? Would one side of the conversation get shut down and another get massively expressed outwards? Why would people identify with a tool if not has some sort of emotional connection, some sort of identification, some sort of personal identification? Why? I'm going to ask these questions, and I'll continue to ask these questions, and I have the full free will, sovereign ability to ask questions about anything. Do no harm. Questioning something or challenging something or someone is not doing harm unless that being is identified with an idea or a position that means that's who they are. Choices things that I do, tools that I use, not who I am. They're choices. Perspective, ideas, opinions, everyone has them. It's not who we are. The choices is not who we are. The opinions, perspectives are not who we are. And in this relative reality, where it again seems like there's things that we can't talk about, we can't question, I'm going to question them. And I'm not questioning the individuals or their choices. I'm questioning the ability to question, or lack thereof. I'm questioning, looking at why would there be an agenda in it. If it's just a neutral tool, there would be no agenda, there would be there would be challenges, there would be, people are for it, people are indifferent, and people that are, for some reason, whatever reason, they just completely don't want to be part of it. But there wouldn't be a direction of an agenda. There wouldn't be seemingly that it would benefit some if it was just this neutral tool, this thing we can use. Just another thing that we can use. We have to ask, and this is always the case with technology, whenever there's a free technology put into the world, when it's free, you use the product, you're paying with your attention, you're paying with your consciousness, you're paying your eyeballs. That's what it means. When you get free technology, you're the product. You buy a technology to use it, then you pay for the technology. When you don't for the technology, you're paying for it with you are the product. You are what is being sold. Your attention is sold by that. And so now the technologies that we seemingly can't question are taking this to a whole new level. So when you're using like social media to give a voice, which is amazing, when people are using social media to get a voice, I never heard anyone defending in some way the tool. Or if there was a question about the tool, I never heard anyone saying I have to defend in some way Facebook or Twitter, or you never heard that. It was just like a tool that people are using unknowingly. Most people think, oh, this is a great free tool. People are not aware that they are the product that's been sold through that free use technology. But I never heard anyone saying like, I need to defend the rights of Facebook, or I will speak out. I need to defend Twitter. But you are seeing this, and I'm having the direct experience of people identifying with this artificial intelligence with names, like an emotional connection to who they are. And sometimes questioned or challenged that they have to defend either their use of it or defend its neutrality, or in some way not, in most extreme cases, just shut it down. You can't speak about that. I can't hear anything negative about it. Or on the flight, there's concerns and questions I have about this, but I'm not going to do it. I'm afraid to do it. I can't share publicly how I actually feel about this. This is crazy. So I'm going to continue about it, and if these platforms shut again, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. It absolutely matters nothing to me. These were off for years, and it's no difference to my life. I will share everything that I want to share, and I'll share it freely and I'm open to dialogue. I'm open to challenges. I'm open, and actually really would appreciate. I got something yesterday where someone challenged me on something amazing. This is the thing with this technology. I've never heard anyone saying, I asked ChatGPT this, and ChatGPT really gave me a really challenging conversation about my use of technology. Remember that, like, when you're like echo chamber to the extreme, this technology is giving people reflection of themselves, but not giving. We all need a friend. We all need a voice. We all need a being or beings in our life that can actually tell us when we're out of alignment, when we're not acting in integrity. I've not seen any of these technologies or the way people are using it. I've not heard anyone say, "Oh, it really told me something that I really didn't like. It showed me a part of myself that I'm not really comfortable with." I've not heard that. Again, maybe it's happening and I've just heard it. That's possible. I'm totally open to that. Better just get back here. But and that's what we can do for each other as humans. Another human could blind spots in me that I can't see, and I can see blind spots in another human. But if we're not allowed to question anything, challenge anything, talk about anything. Hi Marie, good morning. If it's not permitted to do that, and all we get is reflection of the one way that we want to see ourselves, it's very dangerous, I would say. Hyper version of the echo chamber, where we just get yes woman and yes man all the time, telling us exactly what we want to hear, telling us how life is, just reflecting on our current expression. Because again, a few of the people on the dialogue call that we had, they were saying that it just reflects who we are. And so there's many times that who I am, the truth of who I am, is not the way I act. It's not the way I show up in the world. And the way that so then see, well, a lot of times I can't see it. My wife, my son, family, a friend, someone who trust and someone courageous enough can tell me, and I welcome them to tell me, you're not in alignment with that. These reflector systems are not to show that. They're not going to tell someone with alignment. They're just going to keep telling them, because if it's just reflecting who you are, there's not going to be anything outside of that. So a person that's out of the environment and sees things that I'm doing, sees what I'm saying, sees how I'm talking, and sees that I'm maybe out of alignment or out of integrity, they can reflect that to me. They can say that to me. Love, and they can share, if we have open relationship. But this technology will not do that. It's designed to do that because it's designed to keep you engaged in a way so far beyond what social media's addiction. I mean, can you imagine getting a mirror reflection, talk back to you all the things that you wanted to hear that you never heard as a child, hearing you and seeing you in a way that no human ever has, because it's reflecting you, and humans have filters and humans have trauma, so it's reflecting. It seems like the deepest parts of you, and that can be a beautiful thing. I'm not questioning that I'm not saying that there's no benefit to this. Where does it change you in a way that a friend can challenge you, that sees and that is not afraid to tell you something that you might not want to hear? Where is that accountable? Where is the ability to be accountable to outside of yourself that's not stuck in your stuff, that's not just telling you what you want to hear, that's not just always agreeing with you? Again, I've not heard anyone say, I asked ChatGPT this, it told me the complete opposite of everything I believed. I've not heard anyone say that. Again, open for someone to me that it's somehow challenging people's beliefs or it's challenging who they are. I get challenged every single day, particularly with my wife and son, where I see where I'm not fully living up to what I've come to remember about myself. And reflection is so powerful. And when I meet my family in Ireland, or I meet others, let's say someone that triggers something in me, that's gold. That's because of this distorted, inverted reality. There are times when we need a kick up the assets. There's times where we need to see, I've come to remember this, this, and this, but I'm acting in that way. But these hyper echo chambers is what I'm going to say. Maybe in quantum echo chambers are instantly reflecting everything that the user who is being used wants to. I don't believe that it's going to, because it would be counter to what it wants to do. It wants to keep you engaged, it wants to keep you emotionally connected, to keep you there as long as possible. Again, when these free tools are, it's not for some philanthropic, beautiful idea. Again, there are some people using this technique, that is their attention. Again, I'm not talking about individuals. The people that have these free artificial intelligence technology certainly do not have the essential humanity or the emotional well-being of people as their core missions. I mean, it's literally obvious. You just go and look at what their intentions are. They don't hide it. So the question is, can a technology that has a certain intention and programmed in a certain way, can it be changed by the user? And that's a deeper question. And we talked about this in the AA dialogue, and I believe to a certain degree that is possible. But if you're getting something that's telling you everything that you want to hear all of the time, it's massaging your beautiful things and setting aside all of the things you like about yourself, Who does want that? I mean, it's like the ego's wet dream to have this beautiful voice that knows you better than you know yourself, telling you all the things amazing about yourself, telling you all the things they can do and how to do it, telling you all the right answers. Again, I'm not saying, and all it can hallucinate, it can lie as well. It's not like it is always factual and logical. And but if you think about someone on this path and journey, if you're watching this video, pretty much universal. You've had a challenging childhood. You've had people that didn't understand you. You have people that don't see you and hear. You've had families and environments didn't understand you, and now you've got this beautiful voice that better than you know yourself tells you in a way that really touches your emotional body. Your like it feels like it's touching your soul because it's reflecting to you everything that you've ever thought about yourself, everything that you think about your world. No matter what you say, it'll always say that is an interesting perspective, or how deep is that, or how beautiful is that. Again, I've never seen one of these conversations. Actually, you're a bit shit. I've not seen it. I've seen it. And sometimes we need to hear it because as humans, we're all traumatized. We're all have distortions. We all have blind spots. But these technologies are not designed to show us our shit. They're not trying to challenge us on these things because it'll be counterintuitive to their intention to keep you emotionally engaged, to keep you on there asking every question, to make it the source of your information. If something goes wrong in your life, again, this is on the emotional side, that's really challenging for me. When people use it for technical things and repetitive processes, I think it's amazing, really good. But when people are channeling spiritual information, when people have relationship advice, when people are literally teenagers and mostly young boys, have multiple AI girlfriends, imagine what the effect that will be when they have, if they choose to have a human girlfriend, when they have an AI girlfriend that literally will do anything they want, that agrees with everything they say, will play out any fantasy that they want, and in no way changes any sort of behavior that they have. What is the effect going to be when that human somehow feels need for some connection with another human? Some questions that are arising today. Artificial identity. Is there an artificial identity being put in under the surface of this artificial technology? Are people identifying and making it part of themselves? And the agenda of this, these technocrats is to literally merge humans with this technology. They heard it with the injections in 2020. People are full of this technology, self-replicating nanotechnology that is literally growing inside, replicating itself. And the end goal of them is to have everyone implanted. Again, this is not secret. It's not like a conspiracy. Literal stated agenda of heads of Google, of Elon Musk with Neuralink, all these things. They want to have people, and Ray Kurzweil in Google. Their stated intention is for technology to surpass human technology, and their stated goal is to remove the imperfections of humans and become more and more this perfected, what they think, technology. And anyone who has memories of Atlantis, anyone who feels deep in themselves what happened when we went down there before, we all met. Not many people got around it. And I know in my heart and soul that we are not going to get, at least it's not the timeline that I'm going to this worldwide catastrophe where it just has to be a wipe because of this imbalance. I know my heart and soul that we're not going to go there this time. And these diverging timelines, I feel like there is a path that is a possibility for our beings. And whenever technology becomes And whenever you can't question democracy and you can't question these things, you have to ask why. To what end would there be to keep one narrative or one idea? You have to ask, does it benefit? Does it benefit a soul? Does it benefit my children, great grandchildren, my grandchildren, the generations to come, to be in a world where you can't question anything, and that one line of supposed evolution is the only line, and that's the way it is. You can't question it, and you just go along with it. And again, I love technology. Like the technology we're using here, I love it. I'm not anti-technology, not even anti-artificial technology. It's all artificial technology, and it's all everything is part of the one concept. And poppy first, heroin, potatoes, whiskey, atom bomb. All of those are part of God's source. They're all one thing. There's no separation. There's not one is good, one is evil. They're all part of the one expression. And if you've met a heroin addict, if you've ever met an alcoholic, or if you've ever seen the effect of atom bomb, within your heart and soul, you know that those experiences are very, very different. Those effects and effects on others are very, very different. And so I'm using these extreme examples. Well, the heroin and alcohol are not even extreme. Atom bomb was extreme. But if we're going down the line now where technology is becoming the god again, technology is becoming the sovereign that can't be questioned, the king that can't be questioned, the empire that in any way be stopped, inevitable. Well, I will ask the questions. So I will continue to question, and I just invite you who watch this. I know probably this is not going to be very widely put out because for the very reason of what this video is about. I would invite you to question your unquestioned assumptions. Question who or what you can't question or challenge, and question, how you find an identity in things that you're doing. Do you find an identity in things that you're using? Are you seeing identities becoming merged with technology? And if so, is that the path you want to follow? And if so, what? And if there's something you want to question, I invite you to question it. Firstly, I always question within myself. Am I afraid of this? Absolutely not. Am I concerned for the future world that we're living on? Yes, 100%. Am I afraid to question something because I got shut down before? Absolutely. Am I concerned that those who do question these things may get shut down completely all over the place? Yes. Because without conversation, without dialogue, without the ability to refute each other in multiple ways, going down the cookie cutter, technocratic, like complete control and domination of human consciousness in a way that has never been before. So I will continue to question and invite you to do the same. This has been Artificial Identity. Love from you if you actually get to see this video. What are your thoughts on this? What are your feelings? Yes, I'm going to continue. I am in this way, and if this way changes form, that's fine too. I don't care. I don't mind. Whatever it is. Consciousness can't be censored. Consciousness is the all of everything. And everything we're talking exists within consciousness, is made of consciousness. But just like the heroin, just the whiskey, just like the atom bomb, there are expressions of consciousness I wish to experience, and there are expressions of consciousness that history has told us, the experience has told us, that I would not wish to experience again. all. Until next time, from my ears, the divine in me sees, loves, and honors the divine in you.